All right, guys, so again, a goofy week this week with BizTown and everything, but I wanted to go over, you've already covered ratios and rates in the previous video, and you've done some work on worksheet 108 and page 52. So I want to just go over real quick with you. So when we're talking about a ratio, all right, again, just as a kind of reviewing here, when we're talking about a ratio, right, we're comparing two things. So for instance, maybe we're doing two cats per every 3 dogs, right? So if I have two cats at a pet store, I would expect there to be 3 dogs for that ratio, right? And I can write this in 3 different ways. I could write 2 to 3. I can write it 2 colon 3, or I can write it 2 to 3. Okay, so it's a comparison of 2 quantities, so 2 things. So in this case, cats and dogs, right? And here we have whatever comes first, that's always going to be the first number. So cats would be our numerator, dogs would be our denominator. Or cats would be our first number, dogs would be our second one, right? If we were going to do dogs to cats, we'd switch it. 3 to 2, right? 3 colon 2, or 3 to 2, okay? There is one more way that the last video showed you, and that was if we were doing cats to dogs to say 2 per 3, or dogs to cats 3 per 2, right? We could also do what we call a part to whole ratio, right? So this is called a part to part ratio because we have 2 different pieces that we're putting together. Part of them are cats, part of them are dogs. We could also do a part to whole, like what's the ratio of cats to all the animals? Well, let's see, we have 2 cats and 3 dogs, so our part to whole ratio, the part of the cats to the whole group of them, would be 2 to 5, right? 2 to 5, or 2 to 5, okay? Now again, this would be a part to whole ratio because we're comparing the part of the group, the cats, to the whole group. These up here, these would be what we call a part to part ratio. Part to part. So just a little bit of review there for you. Now this would be writing it in 3 different ways, right? We can write it fraction, colon, the word to, and actually there's a 4th one here that the video uses. We don't use this one a lot, but just the word per, okay? Typically what we're going to be focused on is the fraction piece when we're working with ratios and rates. Now if it said to write 3 equivalent ratios, okay, I'm going to put a new one down here. Let's say we had 4 tenths. Maybe in a classroom there's 4 boys for every 10 girls, right? So if we were writing equivalent ratios, all we need to do is make sure that we multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number, or in this case we could actually divide the numerator and denominator by the same number because this is not the simplest form of this ratio. So in this case we could divide these both by 2, right? And we would get a ratio of 2 to 5. So if there's 4 boys for every 10 girls, that means in a class of 5 girls, we would expect there to be 2 boys if the ratio were the same. We can't divide anything else by these, so then we could multiply. Let's see, well, I could either multiply these original numbers or I could go back to the newer simplest form one. So I can multiply or divide numerators and denominators by the same number in order to get an equivalent ratio. So in this case, like maybe I just like, well, I like working with 2 and 5 better, so I'm going to take 2 times 3, that would be 6. And 5 times 3 would be 15. So if there were 15 girls in the class, we'd expect there to be 6 boys. All right? Maybe I go, well, now I'm going to multiply these 2. Or maybe I'm going to multiply these guys again. Instead of by 3, I'm going to do by 4. 8 to 20. Okay? And the cool thing about these is all of these ratios would reduce to the simplest form of that if we did it. Okay, so just a quick review of ratios. Then we have rates, right? And rates are just a type of ratio. Don't let it confuse you. Rates are just a different type of ratio. Oftentimes with a rate, okay, a rate is just a ratio. So there's nothing really different about it except that a lot of times they're going to involve money or they're going to involve time, okay? So let's take a look at page 158. So go ahead and open your book to page 158 and have your notebook out. If you haven't already written this down and you need to, you think, hey, this might be a good reminder to me, maybe you want to write this down. But let's go back to this. So now we're talking about rates, right? So there's 2 main things with rates that you need to know, all right? When dealing with rates, and I need you to make sure you write this down. Okay? When you're dealing with rates, we always want to put the money as the numerator. Okay? So money is always placed as our numerator. And if we're having to deal with time, okay, if we're dealing with time, we want to always put our time as our denominator. Denominator. Okay, so let's look at an example here. Mason's favorite brand of peanut butter is available in 2 sizes. Each size and its price are shown in the table. So over here, Mason can buy a regular size peanut butter. It's 16 ounces for $3.36. Or he could buy a family size. It's 40 ounces and it's $7.60. So when we go to the grocery store, we want to know, well, which is the better buy? Yeah, this one looks like, well, hey man, we get a lot more, but look, we pay more for it. Here we get less, but we also pay less for it. So this is where understanding of rates, and especially unit rates, right? Unit means per one. Okay, and you should have that in your notes from the other day. So let's take a look at this one. So if we're trying to find for the regular, right? Remember back here I said money is always going to be our numerator, and if we're dealing with any time, that's going to be our denominator. In this case, we have some money, don't we? We have a price of $3.36, and we have ounces, 16 ounces. So the only way to compare these two really is to compare, well, how much are they charging us per 1 ounce for these? And that'll tell us which is the better deal. So for over here, for the regular, right? Well, money goes on top. So I would do, for this one, okay, for the regular price, I would do $3.36 for every 16 ounces. And then if you recall from yesterday, all we need to do to find the unit rate is take $3.36 divided by 16. And for this unit, you may use a calculator, okay? So money's on top, $3.36 per 16 ounces. If we divide 336 by 16, we're going to figure out exactly how much it is for 1 ounce. So on a calculator, $3.36 divided by 16, and I know you could do this without a calculator, but if we use a calculator, you'll find out that it is going to be 21 cents. Now remember, if we have to round, we round to the nearest hundreds, right? So we use that thousands to round that hundreds. So this one is 21 cents per ounce, okay? Then we do the family size. Well, what are we going to do? Same idea, except in this case, we're going to do $7.60, money's on top, divided by 40. And see how much is this charging us per 1. That's our unit, right? Unit is 1, so per 1. So $7.60 divided by 40, and you're going to get 19 cents. Whoops, sorry about that. This is cents, not dollars. That'd be a ripoff. 19 cents per 1 ounce, okay? So our question then says, well, which is a better buy? Well, here we can either buy the regular, we'll be paying 21 cents an ounce, or we can buy the family size, we're really only paying 19 cents an ounce. So even though this is more money, we're actually getting a better deal with the family size, which is exactly why people shop at BJ's, Costco, those types of places, and they buy bigger bulk, because per ounce, it's less, okay? Let's go to this one. Martin charges $10 for every 5 bags of leaves he rakes. Last weekend, he raked 24 bags of leaves. How much money did he earn? Oh boy, okay, so let's take this out. So it's five bags, right? 5 bags of leaves, he charges $10. So if we do money on top, so $10 for 5 bags of leaves. The quickest way to do this is find the unit rate. How much is he charging per 1? So for 1 bag of leaf, he's only charging $2. 10 divided by 5 would be $2 for 1. Okay? Once we know how much he's charging for 1 bag, this is bag, right? Then we can figure out, well, he's not doing 5 bags, right? He's not doing 1 bag, but this is really what's going to help us. But he's doing 24 bags. So if he charges $2 for 1 bag, how much would he charge for 24? Well, equivalent ratios. 1 times 24 is 24. 2 times 24, nope, I'm sorry, yeah, 2 times 24 should be $48. Let's see. Whew, good. Now take a look at this one. Lisa walked 48 blocks in 3 hours. So right here, that's time, right? It's an amount of time. 48 in 3 hours. 48 if you want to put a little heading or a little key, right, for a little label, 48 blocks in 3 hours. So how much per hour? Per means per 1 hour. Well, think about it. What do we need to do? We need to divide by 3. 48 divided by 3. We're going to take the numerator divided by denominator and figure out that it is 16 blocks. Gordon types 1,800 words in 25 minutes. There's our time, right? Think back to over here. Time's always our denominator. So we got 1,800 words in 25 minutes, and we want to know, well, how many words in 1 minute? So I'm letting you use a calculator. You may not need it, but if you do, 1,800 divided by 25, the time was on the bottom, and you'll find out we get 72 words per minute. And once we know this, now it's really easy to figure out, well, how much in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 19 minutes, right? Because once we know how many in 1 minute, then we can easily figure out, well, okay, if that's 1 minute is 72, well, then if it was 8 minutes, 8 times 72, 9 times 72, but it always helps to go back to that unit rate, okay? A particular frozen yogurt has 75 calories in 2 ounces. How many calories are in 8 ounces? So again, this one's a little bit tougher to figure out. What am I going to put on the top? What am I going to put on the bottom? Because here, I don't have time, and I don't have money, right? But look at how it's listed. If we got 75 calories in 2 ounces, and we need to figure out how many in 8 ounces, it looks like to me, let's figure out how many in 1 ounce, because that would allow us then to figure out how many in 8 ounces. Okay, so 75 divided by 2, because this is our ounces, and this is our calories, right? So let's figure out how many calories in 1 ounce, right? So pick up a calculator. We do 75 divided by 2. I don't have my calculator, so I'm going to go over here. Right? 75 divided by 2 looks like I'm going to get 30. That's not right. 3 times, subtract, I get 1, bring down the 5. 75, 2 into 7 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. So we're going to 1, right? Bring down the 5. 35. Looks like it must be 35. Why am I messing this up? Am I messing this up? What's 35 and 35? That's only 70. Whoa, sorry, I'm an idiot. 2 goes into 15 7 times, right? 7 times. 7 times 2 is 14, and we get a remainder of 1. Now, in this case, it doesn't make sense to put 37 remainder 1. Well, it would. It'd be 37 and a half, but I'm going to add a decimal here and a 0. 2 goes in at 5 times, so there's 37 and a half as well, okay? So that's how many calories, let me erase this, 37 and a half calories for 1 ounce, and then we can figure out 8, right? So if there's 37 and a half calories in 1 ounce, how many would be in 8? Well, just take 37 and a half in 8 ounces, right? 37 and a half times 8 times 8, 37 and a half times 8, and you should get 300 calories. Okay? I like this one. The cost of 10 oranges is $1. So 10 oranges right, is $1. Now, always an exception to the rule. Here it is, right? Look what came first. Our oranges came first, and it's for $1. So this one's a little bit goofy, and this is one where you have to be able to say, well, this doesn't really make sense if I put 1 over 10 here. So there's going to be those exceptions that you'll become familiar with. For $1, right? So if I wanted 5 dozen oranges, well, 5 times 12, that'd be 60 oranges. How much money would that be? Well, 10 times 6 and 1 times 6 would be $6. Okay? So I know this was a quick preview. I want you to come to me and get the handout and start on that. I think you'll be fine. Remember, you may use a calculator. Okay? Have a great